happy Good Friday.
Good Friday. That's
Yes.
right.
And I guess Tesla's giving everybody full self-driving sometime this week. Elon said.
We'll
What
see.
do you think about that? That means like every Tesla you see that's like acting weird, that car may be driving itself
A lot of
within the next
accidents
week.
coming this week.
Huh?
A lot of accidents
It
happening this
could
week.
be. Well, hey, it's supposed to be safer than a human, but we'll see about that.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, I'll
So
try it
when
out.
wait, when did he make that announcement?
He made it on X this week that every
Oh.
Tesla that's full self-driving capable will get it by the end of the week. So
Mm.
should be seeing it pretty soon. It's got some cool features to try out, but I'm not paying 12,000 for it.
I am not paying 12,000 for that.
No way.
I already overpaid, so
Me too. Everyone did that. Bought a car last year. All right, so what do we? Oh, so quickly, I want to talk about the de-author that I made last week. And
that's a good video, by the way.
You saw the video? Yeah, I'll put a link to that video. But I was able to actually knock the Ring Video doorbell offline building this thing, and just with just a little device that you can buy anywhere basically, and flash the software in there, and basically you could tell it to attack the entire network. Now, if you have multiple APs, you gotta select each AP, and it's only on 2.4 gigahertz. But a lot of these devices, like the standard Ring, they're only on 2.4. So these can effectively knock it offline using that deauth attack. I was pretty surprised. But anyone that's really worried about this happening in the area, they can just upgrade to the Ring Doorbell Pro, because that has dual band 2.4 and 5, and these deauth attacks don't work on 5.
Now, why is that?
Just because this little device, these little microcontrollers only have 2.4, kind of the same way that, because they're cheaply made, right? Same way
Yep.
like the Ring Video doorbells and all these little, Amazon
IoT
cams.
devices, right?
IoT devices, yeah, they're all like cheap. They're made with the cheapest chipsets available, and they're all 2.4. So it's kind of good that if you pay a little bit more for dual band, then these devices won't be affected.
Yeah, but okay, not but. Yeah, there are other devices that can do that, deauthenticate, right?
Probably.
That are dual
There's-
band.
I haven't seen it like using the specific software. It's only for these single 2.4 gigahertz devices.
Right.
There's other
But
ways.
that's the $16 version, right?
Yeah. There may be another one, but I don't think there is. I think they are all single band, all these little
Oh.
microcontrollers. But a couple other ways to protect yourself is if you could use
WPA3.
WPA3 or protected management frames. But the
Yeah.
problem there is, I tried enabling protected management frames, which is 11W,
Yep.
on my Ring Video doorbell, and it couldn't connect. It disconnected it. So a lot of these devices that don't support WPA3 also don't support protected management frames.
Right.
So it's kind of it's an interesting situation. You got to use like a little better device if you're interested in using wireless cameras, I guess, for real security. But
Yeah, I guess anybody that's serious about it, they're not just putting them up as a deterrent.
yeah,
They would pay the extra money because you're buying the cameras. Why are you buying the cameras if you're not?
yeah. Especially when if you're paying for the Ring service, you might as well have like, they actually have like Ring alarm service, right? Like if you're
Yeah,
paying for
exactly.
that, you probably want to have dual band devices out there, or at least wired devices, which are even better. I have like 10 cameras all wired, and then the Ring Video doorbell.
Uh,
So all right,
all
so
mine are wireless.
you're telling them to attack you then. So new product from Ingenious this week, the Broadband point to point. Yeah, you can see it.
Pretty cool. This goes back. I mean, we had something. Not. This is really powerful versus what we used to have. This
Yeah.
is the EOC line.
Yeah.
This is the 650 EOC655-18, which has a directional antenna built in, a panel, 18 dBi antenna.
Yep.
Has 2 ports. One is 2.5 gig. One is 1 gig. It can obviously be powered up on that particular port. But yeah, we'll talk more about it. It has a built-in 5 gigahertz. It's a dual 5 gigahertz radio setup.
Right.
It does have 2.4 gigahertz in here. It has the built-in antenna, 2 external antenna connectors. It has a built-in 2.4, but that's for the management of it, and a panel antenna that's built in. So, if it's mounted like really, really high, me sitting underneath on an app, I can communicate to the device, and I can fine-tune the device, configure the device. But these devices also have central management as well. So, and there's a lot around that. So, we could talk more about that. But you just set this all up, right?
Yeah, I set it all up. So I've got it live on the website now, with all the pricing and the big thing about this is, Genius was started with point-to-point devices, right? Like we started selling tons of point-to-point devices even before indoor Wi-Fi was a thing, and this is like the next step. So the big thing about this one is it has dual radios, dual 5 gigahertz radios, right?
Yep.
For point-to-point. So it's operating those like, independently of each other to like combine that throughput. So with the existing Ingenious bridges, the Wi-Fi 6 bridges, they're limited to 1 radio, so you're like just under 1 gigabit throughput probably, right? This one's going to be closer to 2 gigabits actual throughput, right?
That's right. Yep.
So it's more like a broadband solution. That's a good name for it. So it's, if you're really looking to extend at like full broadband speed, this is the type of device.
Yeah, and these are IP67, so they're very ruggedized. It's actually pretty light. Has a number of different mounting options on it. It comes with a PoE injector. I would say it's a commercialized PoE injector. I don't know if it's outdoor, but it definitely has. It's ruggedized.
It's a ruggedized, and it has that dying gas module to send alerts out if the power's going out. So it's pretty heavy duty unit. And it kind of looks like those old panel antenna, the radio antennas they used to make. Remember it was called like the Rutenna. It had like the
Rutenna, which really housed our
2611, right? Inside of it,
CB3.
And this company would take the 2611, put it inside an antenna. It kind of looks like that.
This is a much prettier device than that one.
It's a much more advanced device.
It's way more advanced. You're still working with Wi-Fi 6. It's 20. I think this is 27 dBi. Has the high antenna gain. There's auto provisioning. There's a mobile app. Radio tuning. So there's a number of things that are going on with this particular device that we'll talk about. And there's 2 variations, right? There's this one.
Yep.
With integrated antenna, and then there's another variation, dual radio or dual 5 gigahertz radio that have external antenna connectors as well. So there's two variations currently right now.
Yeah. Nice. All right,
so the price points on these are pretty darn aggressive in regards to what you're getting. But you can check the pricing out at KeenanSystems.com, right?
I just showed them. Yeah, I've got
You did.
I've got them up at map pricing, and contact me for a quote if you are interested in the system. But yeah, this is like the next step up from the Ingenious E&H or the Ingenious End stations. If you want even more bulletproof, faster point to point.
Longer distances too.
Right? And this can do point to multi-point too for like city type Wi-Fi. If you had like a village you wanted to connect, right, something like that.
Yeah, campus Wi-Fi or campus connectivity, I should call it. Smart city installations.
Yeah.
More on the commercial side than anything.
Yeah. So if you don't just want to. You don't just want to put together a bunch of point to points. messy all over the place, right, then this is another solution for you.
Yeah, and the thing to mention is that the security on it is AES 256 encryption, and there's an optional FIPS 140-2 compliance too, so highly secure too.
Nice. All right, so another thing you wanted to talk about, the new 2x2 Wi-Fi 7 access point, which we think will be really popular.
Yeah, I think this one's going to be really popular. The pricing is not set yet. Just looking at what's happening out in the market and getting an understanding there. It's a 2x2 Wi-Fi 7. It still has a 10 gigabit port on this thing, so that's awesome. And so it comes with a new mounting hardware. It's tri-band. It's operating on 6 gigahertz, 5 gigahertz, and 2.4 gigahertz. It's a multi-gig. The aggregation is like 9 gigabit. So yeah, I think this is going to be really popular. The one thing that you and I were talking about is that, okay, to power up the 4x4, you need 802.3 BT, over 30 watts of power to power the 4x4 up. This one is 802.3 AT, so it's less than 30 watts. That you can power this device up. So you and I were talking about, we have multi-gig switches. We have 8-port, 24-port, 48-port. And I guess the question to anybody watching is, do you plan on moving into multi-gig 48-port switches, multi-gig 24-port switches? I know some of our customers have already done that. And then there's still customers that are using gigabit, but now you're operating with like higher bandwidth type access points and other devices, but just really curious on the trend that everybody's seeing. Are you moving to 24 multi-gig, 48-port multi-gig? Our current 24-port and 48-port are 802.3 AT compliant, so this access point combined with either that 24 or 48-port or even the 8-port that you were talking about earlier, that we were talking about earlier, is a good combination.
Right. So you can, take advantage of the 2.5 gig ports with these switches. You could run that from a 1 gig switch also, but what we're seeing is on these faster, Wi-Fi 6E, Wi-Fi 7 deployments, what are you going to use? Are you going to do you already have 1 gig switches in there and you just need maybe an 8-port just to build out this Wi-Fi 7 network, right? Or are you planning to upgrade all your switches to 2.5 gig capability, so you have that capability in it, and it is less expensive if you were upgrading all your switches to do the 24 or 48 port with the partial multi-gig, right?
Yeah, because you're going to have more ports with 2.5 gigabit, right? And then you also have extra ports that are gigabit on those particular switches for the 24 and the 48 port.
And they'll be cloud managed under the same interface. You may, I encounter a lot of people that have existing 1 gigabit switches and they want to just leave them, and then they have Wi-Fi 7 coming in or 6E, and then they just want to put in maybe a small switch that supports PoE++ or 2.5 gig.
Yeah.
So,
or like a kind of a retrofit.
Yeah.
Existing network upgrade with an 8-port and then with the Wi-Fi as well.
Yeah. So put in the comments whether you want to upgrade all your switches to multi-gig capability, or you don't care so much about the full network. You just want to add in this new multi-gig capable Wi-Fi 7, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Yeah. All right, Brian, anything else you want to talk about this week?
I think that's it.
All right. Remember to like and subscribe.